Have you ever felt invisible, like a shadow in someone else's narrative? Leah, Jacob's first wife, bore this pain for her entire life. Despite being the founding mother of Israel's tribes, Leah lived under the shadow of her stunning sister Rachel and often felt unloved. However, did you realize that she, the one frequently forgotten by the world, held a profound legacy that shaped history? Let's dive into Leah's inspiring journey, a woman who overcame rejection and discovered strength and redemption through God. Her story will transform your perspective on love, perseverance, and our place in God's grand design. Don't miss out on the hidden lessons and treasures from Leah's life. Hit subscribe and enable notifications today for more incredible Bible stories. Come with us on this path to explore a sacred dimension. Leah stands as a vital biblical figure, recognized as Jacob's first wife and the mother of Israel's tribes. She is remembered for a life full of challenges, defined by familial conflicts, love, and her longing for Jacob's acknowledgement. The story of Leah is primarily documented in Genesis chapters 29 and 30, showcasing her challenging relationships and struggles that highlight her personality and the times she lived in. Leah's tale starts in ancient Mesopotamia, within a family ruled by her crafty father, Laban. She had a younger sister named Rachel who played a pivotal role in Leah's life. Leah is described in the Bible as having weak eyes, Genesis 29:17, a term subject to multiple interpretations. Some suggest this could mean Leah's physical appearance was less remarkable or less appealing than her sister Rachel's, who was celebrated for her beauty. This disparity set the stage for a life of comparisons and emotional struggles for Leah. Leah's first appearance in the Bible occurs in Jacob's story. After Jacob tricked his father and took his brother's birthright, Genesis 27:1-29, he fled to Haran to his uncle Laban's household. There, Jacob fell deeply in love with Rachel, the younger daughter of Laban. Leah, as the eldest, was expected to marry first, but she was plain, while Rachel was stunning, Genesis 29:17. Jacob, smitten by Rachel, agreed to work 7 years for Laban in exchange for marrying her. The Bible notes that Jacob's love for Rachel made the 7 years seem like just a few days to him, Genesis 29:20. When the wedding day arrived, Laban prepared a grand celebration, but instead of giving Rachel to Jacob, he sent Leah to him that night. Upon realizing the deception the next morning, Jacob was enraged. Deeply insulted, he confronted Laban, asking why Leah was given to him despite his 7 years of labor for Rachel. Unrepentant, Laban explained that their custom dictated the elder daughter must marry before the younger, Genesis 29:26. He then offered Jacob a deal. He could marry Rachel as well, provided he worked for another 7 years. After the bridal week with Leah ended, Genesis 29:27, Rachel became Jacob's wife, too. As a result, Leah was forced to share her husband with her sister after only 1 week. Leah found herself in a sorrowful position, married to a man who did not love her and tricked into a marriage she hadn't sought. The Bible reveals Leah's deep pain, but her story also takes an extraordinary and eternal turn. Out of compassion, God acknowledged Leah's suffering. Genesis 29:31. When he saw she was unloved, he blessed her with the ability to conceive, while Rachel remained barren. This blessing held great significance in a society where a woman's worth was closely linked to motherhood. Leah's fertility became her source of purpose and dignity. She gave birth to 6 sons and 1 daughter for Jacob, all of whom played crucial roles in the establishment of Israel's 12 tribes. Leah named her first son Reuben, meaning "see a son," because she said, "The Lord has seen my affliction. Surely my husband will love me now." Genesis 29:32. This name reflected her hope to be noticed and loved by Jacob. Her second son, Simeon, means heard. As Leah explained, "The Lord heard that I am unloved, and gave me another son," Genesis 29:33. The name symbolized her desire to be acknowledged and valued. Leah named her third son Levi, meaning joined, in the hope that Jacob would become closer to her after the birth of 3 sons. Genesis 29:34. Yet Jacob's heart still favored Rachel. With the birth of her 4th son, Judah, Leah experienced a significant change in outlook. Up to this point, Leah had centered her efforts on earning Jacob's love through motherhood. The names of her first 3 sons reflected her pain and longing for his affection. Upon Judah's birth, Leah shifted her focus to God, saying, "This time I will praise the Lord." Genesis 29:35. Judah's name, meaning praise, represents this turning point in her spiritual journey. Leah stopped seeking validation from Jacob and began praising God for his blessings. This marked a pivotal transformation as she discovered her true identity in her relationship with God rather than in Jacob's approval. Meanwhile, Rachel envied Leah's ability to bear children as she struggled with infertility. In accordance with societal norms of the time, Rachel gave her servant Bilhah to Jacob as a wife to bear children on her behalf. Genesis 33. Jacob had 2 sons with Bilhah, Dan, and Naphtali. Similarly, Leah gave her servant Zilpah to Jacob. Verse 9. Zilpah bore 2 sons, Gad and Asher, whom Leah claimed as her own and celebrated as additional blessings for Jacob. The competition between Leah and Rachel continued, primarily driven by Rachel, who had not yet given birth to a son of her own. One day, Reuben, Leah's son, brought her some mandrakes from the field. In ancient times, mandrakes were considered an aphrodisiac and a cure for infertility. Rachel hoped the mandrakes could help her overcome her barrenness and asked Leah for them. Leah replied, "Wasn't it enough for you to take my husband? Must you also take my son's mandrakes?" Genesis 30:15. Rachel then offered a trade, a night with Jacob in exchange for the mandrakes. Leah accepted the deal. That night, God blessed Leah, and she conceived another son, whom she named Issachar. The name Issachar means reward or compensation. Leah said, "God has rewarded me for giving my maidservant to my husband." Genesis 30:18. Leah later gave birth to 2 more children, Zebulun and Dinah. Zebulun's name translates to honor or glory. Leah named her 6th son Zebulun, saying, "God has blessed me with a precious gift. Surely my husband will honor me now." Genesis 30:20. This name expressed Leah's hope for recognition. Dinah was Jacob's only daughter mentioned in the Bible, possibly indicating she was his only daughter. Her name means judged or vindicated, reflecting her struggles to gain acknowledgement in the family. For more details about the story of Jacob's 12 sons, check the comments section where I've included additional information. Although Leah faced rejection from her husband and sister, God richly blessed her through motherhood. Her 3rd son, Levi, became the patriarch of the tribe chosen to serve God in the tabernacle, and later in the temple. Her 4th son, Judah, became the ancestor of the lineage through which God fulfilled his promise to Abraham, Jacob's grandfather. God vowed that through Abraham's descendants, all nations would one day be blessed. Genesis 12:1-3, 22:17-18. This promise materialized in Jesus Christ, who came to redeem the world's sins. John 3:16. Jesus, a descendant of Judah, belonged to Leah's lineage. Leah's story provides an essential lesson. True fulfillment comes from a close relationship with God, not from others' approval or love. When Leah shifted her focus from earning Jacob's affection to praising God, she found purpose and serenity. It also highlights that even in times of pain and rejection, God's hand is at work. Leah's choice to worship God instead of dwelling on her suffering brought transformation to her life and profoundly influenced Israel's history and the world. Her legacy demonstrates the power of faith and the necessity of focusing on God, even when life's circumstances don't align with our desires. By becoming the mother of 6 of Jacob's 12 sons, Leah played a central role in Israel's formation. Her sons became leaders of the tribes that would define Israel's future and God's redemptive plan. The destinies of Leah's first 3 sons, Reuben, Simeon, and Levi, reflected her longings and struggles, but it was Judah, her 4th son, who held the greatest significance in the biblical story. From Judah's lineage came remarkable figures such as King David and, ultimately, Jesus Christ, the world's Redeemer. Reuben, the firstborn of Leah, was intended to be the leader among his brothers, but his actions later in life cost him that privilege. He defiled his father's bed by sleeping with Bilhah, Jacob's concubine, forfeiting his inheritance. This shocking event is often overlooked in biblical readings. The eldest son of Jacob, who should have led the family, lost his status because of his sin. Simeon and Levi, Leah's 2nd and 3rd sons, also suffered for their violent actions. They avenged their sister Dinah by attacking the city of Shechem after she was wronged. Jacob cursed their wrath and violence on his deathbed, stating that they would be scattered and divided among Israel. Genesis 49, 5-7. This prophecy came to pass. The tribe of Simeon diminished and was absorbed into Judah, while the tribe of Levi was set apart as priests without a territorial inheritance. Issachar and Zebulun, Leah's 5th and 6th sons, also made significant contributions to Israel. Issachar's descendants were praised for their wisdom and discernment, 1 Chronicles 12:32, while Zebulun's tribe settled by the sea and excelled in maritime trade. Although less prominent in the biblical narrative, these tribes played vital roles in Israel's development, reflecting Leah's profound legacy as their mother. Despite rejection and hardship, Leah's children formed the foundation of the nation through which God fulfilled his redemptive plan. The narrative of Israel's 12 tribes exemplifies God's loyalty and his power to bring purpose even from adversity. The most astonishing aspect of Leah's story is that the Messiah came from her lineage, not Rachel's, the beloved wife. This divine choice demonstrates God's immense mercy and serves as a reminder that worth is not determined by appearances or human favor. Judah, Leah's son, became the patriarch of King David, Israel's greatest king. David's psalms, his reign, and his covenant with God originated from Leah's lineage. God's promise to David that his throne would endure forever was ultimately fulfilled in Jesus Christ, the King of Kings. It is astonishing that the woman unloved and unwanted by her husband was chosen by God to be the ancestor of the Savior. Leah's significance in Jesus' lineage is highlighted in Matthew's Gospel, where the genealogy of Jesus includes Judah and Tamar, another unexpected detail. Tamar, Judah's daughter-in-law, disguised herself as a prostitute to secure the continuation of her deceased husband's line. This detail underscores God's ability to work through unlikely and even controversial circumstances to achieve his purposes. Leah's final years were set against the backdrop of family tensions, with complicated relationships between her children, Jacob and Rachel. Though her life was filled with struggles and rejection, Leah remained steadfast in her faith in God. She watched her children grow, witnessing both their successes and their challenges. Near the end of her life, Leah found comfort in God's promises. She passed away peacefully, leaving a legacy that shaped Israel's future. Leah was laid to rest in the cave of Machpelah in Hebron, a family tomb purchased by Abraham as Sarah's resting place. This tomb also holds the remains of Abraham, Isaac, Rebekah, and Jacob, signifying Leah's revered place in Israel's lineage and the respect she garnered. Unlike Leah, Rachel was buried near Bethlehem on the way to Ephrath, Genesis 35:19. Although Rachel was Jacob's favorite wife, Leah was honored with burial in the family tomb. Jacob's choice to bury Leah in the ancestral burial site can be interpreted as his recognition of Leah's importance in God's covenant with Israel. Leah's burial in the cave of Machpelah was not a mere convenience, but a purposeful decision, highlighting her rightful role in the family and in Israel's history. Although Rachel held Jacob's heart, Leah captured God's favor. Her place in the family tomb signifies her position as one of Israel's matriarchs. Leah's burial symbolizes the realization of God's promises to her. She spent her life seeking love and recognition, and in the end, she received them in ways beyond her comprehension. The decision to bury Leah in Machpelah ensured her name and legacy would endure through the ages. Her story exemplifies resilience, quiet strength, and unwavering faith. Leah endured rejection and sorrow, yet she stayed faithful to God, and He blessed her far beyond her immediate circumstances. Her descendants shaped Israel's history, and through her, the world received its Redeemer. Leah's life is a powerful reminder that God notices and owns those overlooked by the world. Though her journey was fraught with challenges, it was also filled with God's grace and faithfulness. Her legacy is eternal as the mother of the tribe through which God's promises came to fruition. Leah's story demonstrates that God's plans are flawless, even when they seem misaligned with human expectations. Her role in Jesus Christ's lineage ensures her name is celebrated throughout history, inspiring those who feel unseen or unloved. If Leah's story has inspired you, show your support with a like. It encourages us to produce more content. Don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell to receive updates on future episodes. Together, let's discover the hidden treasures in the Bible and see how God's plans exceed our wildest dreams.